Hello, beautiful people. Enjoy another episode on Tales by Proverbs. Watch, listen, and learn. And don't forget to subscribe. Ciao, ciao.
Have you ever watched someone destroy their entire life with a single decision that everyone, literally everyone, warned them not to make? There's an ancient Chinese proverb that says, "不作不死," if you don't do wrong you won't die. On the surface, it sounds like simple moral advice about avoiding trouble, about being good, about staying out of harm's way. But what it's really revealing is something far more brutal about human nature. Our strange, almost suicidal compulsion to self-destruct even when we know exactly what we're doing. If you've ever ignored every warning sign and did the thing anyway, or watched someone you cared about walk straight into disaster with their eyes wide open, or felt the crushing weight of consequences you brought entirely upon yourself, this proverb is about to expose why some people are architects of their own destruction. But hidden inside this saying is a warning about the difference between bad luck and self-inflicted catastrophe, and most people only understand it after they've already destroyed everything. Let me tell you about someone named Qin Wei. Meet Qin Wei, a successful businessman who built a legitimate construction company in Shenzhen over 15 years of backbreaking work. He started with nothing but determination, a borrowed truck, and the willingness to outwork everyone. He played by the rules, built his reputation brick by brick, treated his workers fairly, delivered quality projects. By 40 years old, he had everything most people dream about: a thriving business with steady contracts, a beautiful wife, 2 healthy children in good schools, respect in his community, and enough money to live comfortably. But Qin Wei wanted more. Not just success, dominance. He wanted to be the biggest contractor in Shenzhen, the richest, the most powerful. And he was willing to cut corners to get there faster. He had a genuinely good life. Profitable contracts that paid well. Steady growth year over year. A wife named Lin who loved him deeply, and 2 children who looked at him like he was a hero. But to Qin Wei, good felt like settling, like leaving money on the table, like playing it safe while others got rich faster through methods he knew existed but hadn't embraced. Then a government official approached him with an offer that would change everything. A massive infrastructure project. A new bridge and highway expansion worth 200 million yuan. It would triple his company size overnight, make him the dominant contractor in the region, generate wealth beyond anything he'd achieved. But there was a catch, and Qin Wei knew it the moment the offer came. He'd need to pay substantial bribes to secure the contract, use substandard materials to maximize profit margins, and falsify safety inspections to keep construction moving fast. Qin Wei's wife Lin begged him not to do it. "We have enough," she said, her hands gripping his across their kitchen table. "We have more than enough. Don't risk what we've built. This feels wrong because it is wrong." His longtime business partner Wang, who'd been with him from the beginning, warned him directly, "Wei, this is exactly how people end up in prison. I've seen this story before. It never ends well. Don't do this." His own conscience, late at night when he couldn't sleep, whispered that this was dangerous, stupid, a betrayal of everything he'd built through honest work. But Qin Wei had an answer for every warning he received. "Everyone does it," he told himself, told Lin, told Wang. "This is just how business works in China. The system is built this way. If I don't take this deal, someone else will, and they'll use it to destroy my company. My competitors are already doing worse. I'm not doing anything they're not doing." He had a justification for every red flag, a rationalization for every warning sign his mind tried to raise. Qin Wei took the deal. He paid the bribes and cash-stuffed red envelopes delivered to the official's office. He ordered his procurement team to use cheap concrete from suppliers he knew cut corners. He falsified inspection documents, creating elaborate paperwork that showed compliance with standards he was deliberately violating. He created shell companies to hide the money trail, moving funds through accounts designed to obscure the source. For 8 months, everything went perfectly according to his plan. The project moved forward rapidly. Money flooded into his accounts, more cash than he'd made in the previous 5 years combined. He bought a luxury apartment in the new development district, a German car that turned heads, expensive watches he didn't need. His ego inflated proportionally with his bank balance. Then a construction worker noticed cracks forming in a support column that shouldn't show stress yet. The worker, an experienced engineer, reported it directly to Qin Wei. He stood in Qin Wei's office and said, "Boss, something's wrong with the concrete. This column is showing weakness that indicates substandard materials. We need to halt construction, investigate, and fix this properly before someone gets hurt or worse." Chen Wei faced a choice in that moment. Stop construction, investigate the problem honestly, fix it properly even if it meant delays and reduced profit, or cover it up and keep the money machine running. He chose to silence the worker with 50,000 yuan in cash and instructions to keep quiet. More problems emerged like cracks spreading through concrete. Other workers noticed irregularities, rebar that didn't meet specifications, concrete that hadn't cured properly, welds that looked suspicious. An honest city inspector started asking uncomfortable questions that couldn't be answered truthfully. Chen Wei's partner Wang begged him to stop, to come clean before catastrophe struck, to fix the problems while there was still time. But Chen Wei was too deep in now, too committed, too convinced he could manage the situation through money and manipulation. He started believing his own lies, a dangerous cognitive shift that happens to people who persist in wrongdoing. He wasn't doing anything wrong, he told himself. He was being smart, navigating reality, making the hard decisions successful people make. He wasn't breaking rules, he was playing the game as it's actually played. He wasn't risking anything. He was in control, managing variables, too smart to get caught. The proverb his grandmother used to say sometimes echoed in his mind late at night. If you don't do wrong, you won't die. But he dismissed it as old-world thinking, rural wisdom that didn't understand modern business realities. To cover up the first corner he'd cut, he had to cut more corners. To hide the first bribe, he had to pay additional bribes to more people. The lie became a machine that demanded constant feeding. But Chen Wei convinced himself he was managing it all, that he was smart enough, connected enough, careful enough to pull it off. 14 months into the project, during a routine stress test required before the next construction phase, a section of the structure collapsed. 3 workers were injured, 1 seriously. The incident triggered an immediate full investigation by multiple agencies that Chen Wei couldn't bribe his way out of, couldn't talk his way around, couldn't control. Investigators found everything. The substandard materials. The falsified inspection reports. The bribery trail through his shell companies. The systematic corner cutting. Everything he'd built over 15 years through legitimate work evaporated in the time it takes for truth to surface when people finally look. The morning they came to arrest him, Chen Wei's hands shook so violently he couldn't button his shirt. His mouth tasted like metal, like his body was already processing the poison of consequences. His chest felt compressed, like drowning on dry land, like the weight of his choices had become physical. His children, his innocent children, watched through their bedroom door as police led their father away in handcuffs, their faces showing confusion that would soon turn to shame they'd carry for years. Chen Wei received a 7-year prison sentence. His company was dissolved, its assets seized. His wife Lin divorced him, taking their children to another city, changing their surname to escape the shame and stigma. Everything he'd built, everything he'd achieved legitimately, everything he'd loved, gone because of choices he made despite every warning. Sitting in a prison cell with years stretching ahead of him, Chen Wei finally understood the proverb his grandmother used to recite. He hadn't died literally, but he'd destroyed his life completely. Not through bad luck. Not through unfair targeting. Not through external forces beyond his control. Through his own choices made consciously despite knowing better. The government official who offered the corrupt deal? Never charged, still operating. Chen Wei's competitors doing similar things? Many still in business. But Chen Wei got caught. And the proverb wasn't about whether everyone gets punished. It's about the undeniable mechanical reality that you create your own destruction when you choose wrong. So what is this brutal Chinese proverb really teaching us? If you don't do wrong, you won't die. On the surface, this sounds straightforward. Don't do bad things and bad things won't happen to you. Simple cause and effect. Basic morality. In Chinese culture, this proverb carries weight beyond Western notions of karma or divine justice. It's not about the universe keeping score. It's about the practical, mechanical reality that wrong actions create inevitable consequences. But dig deeper, and this proverb reveals something more specific. The Chinese character, zua, means to do, or to make, specifically to actively create trouble, to bring something into being through deliberate action. And si doesn't just mean physical death. It means ruin, destruction, the end of something, the death of your life as you knew it. A 2019 study from Yale University on decision-making psychology found that 73% of people who experienced major life catastrophes could identify a specific moment when they ignored clear warning signs. The research revealed something disturbing. Humans often make destructive choices not from ignorance, but despite knowledge. We know better and we do worse anyway. We know smoking causes cancer, yet millions smoke. We know drunk driving kills, yet people still drive drunk. We know infidelity destroys marriages, yet people cheat. We know corruption leads to prison, yet people take bribes. The proverb addresses this paradox directly. Knowing better doesn't stop us from choosing destruction. But here's the twist that makes this proverb absolutely brutal. It's not warning that bad actions might lead to punishment. It's stating as mechanical fact that trouble doesn't just happen to certain unlucky people. They actively create it through deliberate choices. You're not a victim of circumstance when you ignored every warning and did it anyway. Chen Wei could blame the corrupt official for offering the deal. He could blame the broken system that rewards corruption. He could claim bad luck that he got caught while others didn't. But the proverb cuts through every excuse with brutal clarity. He chose to take the bribe. He chose to use cheap materials. He chose to falsify documents. He chose, repeatedly and consciously, to create the conditions for his own destruction. We live in an era of epidemic excuse-making. Everyone does it, so it's not really wrong. I had no choice given the circumstances. The system made me do it. I'm a victim of a corrupt environment. But this proverb rejects all of it. It states brutally, if you didn't actively do the wrong thing, these specific consequences wouldn't exist for you. Every culture knows this truth, just expressed differently. The English say, you made your bed, now lie in it. The Bible states, a man reaps what he sows, not what is sown for him but what he personally plants. Even modern psychology recognizes locus of control, the degree to which you're the author of your outcomes. Think of every major scandal you've witnessed. Politicians destroyed by corruption they chose, not corruption forced upon them. Celebrities ruined by behavior everyone warned against. Business leaders imprisoned for fraud that greed motivated, not necessity. Athletes who threw away generational careers for substances everyone told them to avoid. The proverb is brutal because it removes the comfort of victimhood. When truly bad luck strikes, random illness, natural disaster, genuine accidents, that's different. That's life's randomness. But when you lose everything because you cheated, stole, lied, betrayed trust, or ignored clear warnings, that's not bad luck. That's actively creating your destruction. In prison, Chen Wei wrote letters his family never answered. In one he wrote, I had everything. Nobody forced me to risk it. I convinced myself I was smart enough to get away with it. But I wasn't unlucky. I was arrogant. My grandmother's proverb was always true. I just thought I was the exception. This is the key pattern. Most people who self-destruct believe they're the exception to the rule. Yes, that happens to other people, but I'm smarter, more careful, more deserving of getting away with it. This arrogance is the engine of self-destruction. The lesson is simple but powerful. Don't create trouble. When every warning sign is flashing red, when everyone you trust is saying, don't do this, when your own conscience is screaming, listen. That's not fear talking. That's wisdom preventing self-inflicted catastrophe. Understand the difference between risk and recklessness. Starting a business is risk. Building something new is risk. But cutting corners with safety? Betraying trust? Breaking laws? That's not risk-taking. That's actively creating the conditions for your own downfall. So here's your mission. Look at your life right now with brutal honesty. Are you doing anything you know is wrong? Anything that everyone is warning against? Anything that your future self will look back on as the moment you created your own downfall? If the answer is yes, stop. Not tomorrow. Not after one more time. Stop now. The proverb is mechanical. Stop creating destruction and destruction stops coming. So let me ask you, have you ever been the creator of your own disaster? That moment when you knew better but did it anyway and paid the price? Share your story in the comments. Or maybe you almost made that catastrophic mistake but stopped yourself just in time. What made you pull back? What made you listen to the warnings? Here's what I can't stop thinking about. Do you believe most people's problems are truly bad luck? Or are most people architects of their own destruction who just won't admit it? If this proverb made you think about a choice you're about to make, or someone you know who's heading towards self-inflicted disaster, share this video. They might need to hear this brutal truth before they create consequences they can't undo. Because the hard truth is this: if you don't do wrong, you won't die. But if you do, you're writing your own ending.